Okay, so we're going to break this into a couple of videos. We're going to talk about distance and midpoint. We're going to do it one with one dimension, one with two dimensions. Alright, so some of this will be review. It will go pretty quickly, and you'll see as we go through what I'm talking about. So first off, we want to find the distance between A and B, and we're just going to label it as AB. Remember, if we have a line above it, we're talking about the physical line itself. When we don't have that line, we're talking about the distance. Alright, and distance formula on a number line, we're going to not even put a formula. I'm just going to tell you, I want you to count. From here to here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. AB is 6. Alright, so just double check. ST, 1, 2, 3. And UV, 1, 2, 3. Now they're the same. Think about what word did we talk about when two things are the same, when they're identical. The actual segments themselves are congruent. This is the same picture you saw the last video from section 1.2, so we're not going to spend much time, but remember this symbol here is important because we're going to use that symbol throughout the entire year. Alright, midpoint. I actually got ahead of myself and did an example with midpoint where probably should have just waited till now, but if a point's a midpoint, then it divides the segment into two congruent segments. So if B is the midpoint of AC, and let's draw that just so we see it one more time. If B is the midpoint of AC, so this is AC, and B is right in the middle, we know that these two are congruent. So our conclusion, when we start making conclusions, we're making true statements. So we're saying segment AB is congruent to segment BC. Okay, by saying this, we're saying these two blue marks is essentially this statement. AB, this segment right here, is the same segment as BC, just in a different spot. So let's look at midpoint. Find the midpoint of the line segment PQ. Well, if it's halfway, let's go back just for a second. If this entire thing here was 10 units, we know that each one of these is 5. We're going to use that same idea here. I'm going to figure out what the entire distance is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The entire segment's 8, which means the midpoint has to be 4 away from each of those, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's check this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a midpoint formula, we're actually going to write this. I'm going to label them as x1 and x2 because they're two x values. When you're talking about a number line, you're always looking at x values. You're actually going to divide them. So I'm going to take, let's try it this way now, take -3. I'm going to add x2 and divide by 2. -3 plus 1 is -2. So we get -1. So a couple different ways you could do it. Distance formula, absolutely just count. Please don't do anything more difficult than that. You know how to count. Let's just do it that way. Midpoint formula, I prefer doing the counting method, finding something halfway in between. But for small numbers, -3 and 1, it's straightforward that you could just add them up and divide by 2.